The Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
To change the game. Look at this move by Steph Curry. Wow. How fun is he?
Success with Brewer early on Curry, but Curry's taking advantage of this matchup. The left-handed finger roll, electrifying this crowd.
And the dream season is now complete. The Golden State Warriors are the 2015 NBA champions.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining.
The first unanimous MVP in NBA history, Stephen Curry.
Trying to spin, stripped to the ball by
no.
Curry.
Oh, no.
Pass to Durant.
The Warriors are NBA champions again. The Golden State Warriors back-to-back titles.
Steph, three, there it is! NBA three-point history, 2,974 threes and counting.
The Dubs dynasty is still very much alive.
The Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP award goes to Stephen Curry.
Survived, and now they will advance. The Los Angeles Clippers have won Game 7. And they advance to the second round with tears of joy down the face of their first-year coach, Doc Rivers.
The Golden State Warriors have fired head coach Mark Jackson. The move comes in the wake of the Warriors' elimination from the basketball playoffs.
We're committed to building a team that can win a championship, and that's all we care about, that's all we think about. So I understand the concern, but trust us, and we are moving in the right direction here.
I want to thank all of you for coming. It's a special day for the Warriors, the day we announced Steve Kerr as the head coach.
My view is not next year we've got to win 52 games or we've got to get to the second round. My view is, what are we going to do the next decade? What are we going to do the next 5 years? My goal is to continue this upward trend that the team has already been on.
Following the controversial coaching change in the 2014 offseason, the Warriors were set to take on yet another new direction as a franchise. The front office had seen the team's recent first-round exit as a sign that new leadership was needed in order for the current roster to reach its full potential. A move that wasn't received well by Golden State's now established star.
Just finished a tough, grueling 7-game series with the Clippers. Within 48 hours, they were moving in a different direction. So I've obviously voiced my opinion from day one of how much I love Coach, love playing for him, what I felt like he did for our team and our organization, changing the culture.
There were a lot of questions. The Warriors were not one of the favorites. You go back and look at the odds. They were not one of the favorites. They brought in a new coach, Steve Kerr, that obviously now people love. But at the time, Steph, was one of the voices that said, hey, I want to keep Mark Jackson.
There's no secret I didn't want him fired when it went down. With Bob Myers and Joe Lake and Peter Guber, they wanted to make a decision, and they brought in Steve. And my whole point was, like, if you fire Coach Jackson, you just got to get the next hire right, because we're in a position now where you can't mess it up, and obviously they got it right.
Steve Kerr would inherit one of the most talented rosters in the league, as the Dubs had added talented wing Andre Iguodala to their now already developed core. Both Klay Thompson and Draymond Green had grown into the perfect complementary pieces, with the former set to break out in his 4th season after a much improved 2014 campaign, and the latter embracing his role as the emotional leader of the roster.
Well, we're wondering who's going to come up with the big defensive stop.
That guy. Wow, Draymond Green.
There's not a point guard in the association that could have set that play up any better.
The Draymond Green part of it, I thought, was the final piece where you suddenly looked at the Warriors and went, wow, this is a great team. I mean, you look at it 1 through 5, and each individual piece is dynamic, but they play perfectly together. And now you have with Draymond, you now have your your mentally tough piece of this, the Dennis Rodman type, that just does all the dirty stuff, that is a bit of an enforcer, right? So if someone else decides they want to start messing with Stephen Curry or Clay or something like that, you have, an answer for that. You have a player that can completely go face to face with anyone.
Stephen Curry himself was coming off yet another leap in his development as the centerpiece in the Bay, putting together his first All-NBA level season as he averaged a career high in both points and assists. Having learned from some of the game's greatest minds, Coach Kerr would implement a completely new, offensively focused system in Golden State. Ball movement, free-flowing sets, and fast-paced gameplay took their place as priority on the court. A new philosophy built entirely around Curry himself. Steph had already proven that he was capable of being the primary option, but now he would take his place as the engine powering the league's most explosive offense.
Push out to Steph. Foot race with McDaniels.
Starting the season off on an unbelievable 21-3 run, Golden State had shocked the league with a scoring attack that gave opposing coaches nightmares. As the focal point, Stephen Curry had seen his game elevate for the world to see, taking the leap from an all-star level player and embracing a spot in the conversation of the best player in the NBA.
I know now there's a difference between somebody who can be occasionally great and someone who can be counted on to be great in the most pressure-filled moments.
At 5, Curry for the lead.
Down to 7. At 5. At 4. Curry jumper.
Stephen Curry, there's very few players in the NBA that I've ever seen have this special, like this aura, this transcendent quality. That's how special Stephen Curry was. He rose in the biggest moments. They didn't faze him. Like, that's huge, right? Like, he embraced the biggest challenges imaginable and just asked for more.
Curry, yes! The capper! Iguodala push ahead. Curry down the lane! And he rammed it home! A right-hand spike!
Curry inline shakes the ball out of his boots and hits a fallaway jump shot. And the bench is loving it.
I think the number one thing that took Steph from being a normal great NBA player into an all-time great NBA player, I think was his ability to really hit shots off the dribble. And I think that's still the biggest difference with Steph that we're never going to see from anyone else.
Curry, unbelievable.
The way that he would come off hesitation drives, the way he would step back for 3, the way he would cross over and then pull it back again the other way, he would do things off the dribble that I think we still have never seen.
Curry splits the defense behind the back, fires a three. Oh, he puts it in! What a spectacular move!
That could be the greatest move I've ever seen. No, I'm being serious.
He's just impossible. I mean, I heard a couple of interviews from some people saying, you got a guy you hate to guard most is Steph Curry, because he's moving all the time. He's running you into his teammates, and he's on the go. And then if you give him a little bit of daylight, he can get the shot off and score.
Curry hits the 3 and will hit to the line.
That Steph's continued excellence never wavered throughout this new journey for all of us was the first sign that this guy wasn't just incredible, he was incredible in the highest echelons. Pick a player, pick anyone on any team, Steph, belongs in that same category.
the MVP of the NBA 2014-2015, Wardell Stephen Curry II.
When it comes to basketball, I was always the smallest kid on my team. I had a terrible, ugly catapult shot from the time I was 14 because I wasn't strong enough to shoot over my head, and I had to reconstruct that over a summer. You want to be the hardest working person in whatever you do, and you'll put yourself in position to be successful. Pops, you're the example of what a true professional is on and off the court. I remember a lot of your career, and to be able to follow in your footsteps. It means a lot to me. What I tell people is just be the best version of yourself in anything that you do. You don't have to live anybody else's story. Sometimes people make it seem like you have to have certain prerequisites or a crazy life story in order to be successful in this world. But the truth is you really don't. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you have or don't have, what you lack, what you have too much of, but all you need to have is faith in God, an undying passion for what you do or what you choose to do in this life, and a relentless drive and the will to do whatever it takes to be successful and whatever you put your mind to. Make sure you live in the moment and work your butt off every single day. And I hope I inspire people all around the world to just be themselves, be humble, and be grateful for all the blessings in your life. And I'm truly honored to be your MVP this year. So thank you very much.
As the franchise's first league MVP since Wilt Chamberlain, it was clear that Curry had elevated himself to a new status in the NBA. Off the court, his following had exploded, making him one of the most popular players in the league. A partnership with Under Armour had resulted in the release of his new line of signature shoes, and he had been the leading vote-getter amongst fans for the 2015 All-Star Game. After starting the season with the 8th highest odds to win a title, Steph had led Golden State to the best record in the NBA, shocking the basketball world by winning 67 games. Nobody could have predicted the Warriors' success in the regular season, but as the playoffs approached, Curry and the Dubs knew they still had to prove to the world and themselves that they were a legitimate contender.
Here comes Curry. Curry to the basket, foul, shot's good and one. For his teammates. Curry again from three. Steph Curry finding the range. Leaving is Curry.
That was sensational.
Green's got it, looking for Curry or Thompson. Curry lets Holiday go by, and Steph Curry hits a three. Chance to tie it here for Golden State. Curry's got it. And Curry will let it go for three, comes up short. Offensive rebound, Curry again. And Curry hits a three.
The Warriors win their first sweep in a 7-game series since the 1975 finals, the last time they won the championship. And they're one round closer to achieving their goal of getting back to the top of the NBA.
First playoff matchup between these two teams. Curry again, back-to-back threes from Steph Curry. Curry steps back. Bang! What a handle. Curry got Green off his feet. And count the basket. Also Stephen Curry. Curry for three. Got it. Green weaving, trying to get the shot up. No call that way. Curry flings it the other way. And he got it!
The MVP gave them 32
2. And for the first time since 1976, the Warriors are going to the conference finals.
After losing only 2 games in the first 2 rounds, Golden State had gained some momentum entering the Western Conference Finals. Now with the spotlight on Oracle Arena, Curry would once again demonstrate why he was the league's MVP.
Here comes Curry. Curry for 3. Bang! Jones on Curry. Curry the drive, step back, 2-pointer, puts it in. Carams out to Curry, puts up a 3, and puts it in. Oh, stop, please. And Curry does it again. Curry behind the back, drives to the basket, scoop layup off the glass. As the crowd will celebrate, the Golden State Warriors are in the NBA Finals for the first time in 40 years.
The Warrior team hadn't been here in 40-something years, so we got 4 more wins to finish off the job. This is we should enjoy this. Get recharged, refocused for the finals. Ready to go.
It's people that came to me and said, LeBron, you got to do what makes you happy. And I was like, yeah, I think so. And also, I'm going to do what makes my city and my state happy. And that's why I came back. I love you. I'm back.
Having returned to his hometown prior to the 2014 season, LeBron James had been on a mission to bring a championship to the city of Cleveland. The Cavaliers had traded for All-Star Kevin Love, pairing him with the exciting Kyrie Irving in an effort to form a contender around the King.
James for the win. It's gone. LeBron James at the buzzer.
Despite losing Kevin Love to a shoulder injury in the first round, the Cavaliers had blown through the Eastern Conference playoffs as LeBron James made his way to his 5th straight NBA Finals. On the opposite side, Golden State found themselves in a position that had been unthinkable just a few years prior. The Warriors had proven people wrong all season long, and were now hungry to show the world that they belonged. With home court advantage on their side, the fans in Oracle were electric, ready to witness the Bay's first NBA Finals in over 4 decades.
Curry for 3. Puts it in. Curry guarded by James. Curry gets away, scoops inside again, left-handed, backs it in. 5 to shoot. James jumper. Oh, James now with 25. James on Curry. Spinning. Puts it up. Puts it in. Curry fires, hits. Stephen Curry puts the Warriors up 2.
And Steph Curry will dribble it out. Game 1 goes to the Warriors.
With 26 points in his first NBA Finals action, Stephen Curry had helped Golden State pull out a 108-100 overtime win in Game 1. LeBron had put together a 44-point performance to keep the game close, but an injury to co-star Kyrie Irving at the beginning of OT had left the Cavs short-handed down the final stretch. This injury would ultimately keep Kyrie out for the remainder of the series, but even in his absence, Cleveland would come out with a different energy in Game 2.
James falling away. Nice shot from LeBron James. Mozgov, left-handed. Pretty play from Mozgov. Drives on Green, gets past, layup is good. Explosive move, and James has 26.
Once again in Game 2, the result would be decided in overtime, but it was a surprising contribution from role player Matthew Dellavedova that would make all the difference for the Cavaliers.
Dellavedova, another floater, and again drops it in.
Curry on the drive, step back, puts it up. Air ball, James the rebound, and the NBA Finals are tied at 1 game apiece. An inspiring bounce back.
In what had been perhaps the worst playoff performance of his career thus far, Stephen Curry had struggled in Game 2, scoring just 19 points on 5 for 23 shooting. The MVP had been hounded by Dellavedova all game long.
Dellavedova was a pest when it came to Stephen Curry.
I hated the name Delly. I hated the concept that he would somehow slow Steph down, let alone be able to guard him.
Part of it was the size. Part of it was the refs doing 8 years ago what they do now, which is let people get their hands all over Steph.
I watch his feet. Those aren't overachievers' feet. Those are star defenders' feet that I'm seeing. Dellavedova, after the game the other night on SportsCenter, talked about how much tape he watched of Steph before the finals started, because they had all those days to get ready. He was beating Steph to his sweet spot with his head.
As the series traveled east to Cleveland, the narratives about both Curry and the Warriors would continue to grow throughout the media. Both teams had a win under their belt entering Game 3, and the world was tuned in to what could be a pivotal moment in the series.
James on the flush. LeBron James will hold it for the final shot. Pass to James Jones for 3. It's good!
It's right there, guys. We got to keep our poise, and we got to bring our brains to this out. Bring our brains and our hearts and compete.
Thompson drives on Mozgov, gets to the rim and throws it down. Oh, impressive dunk from Klay Thompson. There's the ball handling. Reverse layup. Bank shot is good. Stephen Curry again, and it's a 3-point game. Here comes James. Cross to Dellavedova, alley-oop to James, and he throws it down. 6 to shoot. James again, this time sets for 3. Got it! Timeout, Golden State. Curry catches, fires, and hits. 6-point game. Curry looking for a screen. Dribbles off 2, puts up a 3. It's good! Stephen Curry nails another, and it's a 3-point game.
James has it, and that will do it. The Cavaliers take Game 3 of the Finals.
Behind a second 40-point performance in just 3 games, LeBron James and the Cavaliers would take a dangerous 2-1 lead over Golden State. Once again, Dellavedova had done everything he could to slow down Curry. But after a 27-point and 7 threes made night by Steph, Matthew was quite literally left with nothing in the tank.
It was reported after the game that Delly was in the hospital. He was in the hospital getting IV. He was getting fluids because of how much energy he exerted just to stop Steph Curry.
Delly almost died guarding Steph Curry. We have footage of this man in the ice tub, like literally to his neck trying to guard this man. Like he literally gave everything he had, and there was no excuse. There wasn't like, oh, he just had it going. It was like, no, it's like, oh, I'm trying, or no. It wasn't none of that. He could barely talk after. That's how hard he was trying.
At the risk of going down 3-1, the Warriors were left with a decision to make. They had to find a way to slow down LeBron.
But when they were down 2-1, I'm not gonna lie, man, I thought it was over. They had no answer for LeBron. Like, LeBron was picking them apart. He was scoring at will. He was doing whatever the hell he wanted. There's a reason why they took a 2-1 lead in that series.
We didn't know how to deal with, or I didn't know how to deal with any sustained success. This all felt like a fever dream. I had like a PTSD response. I thought for sure, well, it's finally coming to an end. This is absolutely going nowhere. And to Steph's credit, and this fits into some of the his mental fortitude off the floor, he did not panic in a way that we did. You know, he seemingly understood that his team was better if they kept they continued to play the type of basketball that led them, they'd be fine. And ultimately, he was right.
Crossover, trying to get some space, goes underneath, scoop layup is good. Curry, nice crossover, fires away, knocks it down, three-pointer for Curry. Curry gets past Jones, pulls back, puts up a three, puts it in. Stephen Curry from downtown, and it's a 13-point lead. Green throws it in Livingston, back out Iguodala, puts up the three, knocks it down. Iguodala with his third three-pointer of the game. And these NBA finals are tied up in 2 games apiece.
Having stolen back home court advantage with a dominant 19-point win, you could feel the momentum swinging back in the favor of the Warriors. Coach Kerr's pregame adjustment had paid off, as Iguodala had been able to hold LeBron to just 20 points on 22 shots, all while allowing Golden State's offense to establish itself in the fourth quarter. Now with the opportunity to completely flip the series on its head, Game 5 in Oracle Arena would be a defining moment for not only Golden State, but for the growing legacy of Stephen Curry.
Curry steps back. Bang! Curry for three. Got knocked down, and still nailed it.
I do think that series showed just how clutch Steph was. If you go back and watch that Game 4 and then Game 5, especially Game 5 at home 2-2 series, and watch what Steph Curry does to Matthew Dellavedova.
Curry steps back. Oh! Stephen Curry with some magic. Curry splits the defense, goes down the lane, left-handed, backs it in.
That to me was a huge difference between Steph maybe not being one of the all-time greats versus revealing to the world that he is some players would have shrunk in that moment. But no, Steph shrugged it off. It took him a few games, but he realized, oh yeah, I'm Stephen Curry.
Curry looking for that opening. Steps back. Crossover. Fires away. Wow! Another three from Curry. Curry for three. Bang! Exclamation point. The Warriors are 1 win away from their first NBA title in 40 years.
As tip-off to Game 6 grew closer, you could feel a different energy across the Warriors' locker room. Years of irrelevance had left the franchise shackled with a reputation of failure. Even after their resurgence over the past 3 years, the Warriors had remained the subject of doubts, as people questioned if they had what it took to bring a trophy back to Oakland. However, on this night, a night 40 years in the making, decades of disappointments and struggles would wash away. This was the night Stephen Curry and the Warriors would once and for all take their place in NBA history.
Green, backdoor to Curry. Beautiful pass. Ball movement. Iguodala hesitant to shoot now. Curry not. And hits the three-pointer. Curry rifle pass to Iguodala. Curry gets an opening. Fires away. Got it again. And the dream season is now complete. The Golden State Warriors are the 2015 NBA champions. Their first title in 40 years.
The first championship for the Warriors since 1975 it felt like a cathartic moment for Warriors fans. I think Warriors fans had seen a lot of fun teams, a lot of fun players. I think you had Run TMC, right? Really fun. You had the We Believe Warriors, Baron Davis, Jason Richardson, Steven Jackson, and they meant a lot to the culture of the Bay Area, both in Oakland and San Francisco. I think people attached themselves to these players and really felt like, hey, like they were part of what the Bay Area was. And I think when they won that first championship, it was the first time that Bay Area fans really felt like, hey, we have a team that's actually great, not just fun.
You talked about the changing perception of what it meant to be a Warrior. What does it mean now?
World champs. This is truly special. This group is a special group. From the time we started the season, this is what we envisioned, and a lot of hard work goes into it, and all the way down to the last minute of this game. This is what it's all about.
Well, I was most happy for the fans. The fans have been so loyal to that team for so many years, you know, filling up the arena and watching the teams play and having one disappointment after another. So I was just happy that the fans had an opportunity to celebrate the championship. I was happy for the guys because they're good people. I got to meet them. And so I was very happy for the franchise because I'll always be a Warrior at heart.
When you have a sports movie, pick any of them, Rocky, Hoosiers, Creed, I mean, just pick one. It's always about an underdog. They've never had a movie about an underdog for 30 years being terrible, and then suddenly turning it around. So the Warriors win wasn't just improbable. It's so improbable that Hollywood never even tried this story. They thought it would be too ridiculous. So when they ultimately reached this finish line, a finish line that no other movie had even contemplated, you know, was it incredible? Hell yes.
Fortunately, it's an emotion that a lot of people can share. I'm sure just asking this, if anyone's watching, they're immediately thinking to their own experience. Look, all I was doing was screaming for like an hour probably. Drove up here for the parade. That's the only championship parade I've been to. I did it all, dude. It was that special. It's hard to put into words how elated I think myself and millions of others were at that moment. It was awesome.
You don't know what it takes to get there until you actually accomplish it, and it's just a whole nother level of freedom after that. Like, it's so hard to put into words, but when you finally hear the horn sound, we in Cleveland celebrating, chains was off.
I'm just gonna sit here for a second. The hours in, the hard work, the practice, fight through injuries. For this, it looks so much better in person too.